Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. The rivalry over who will be with Luffy never fades. Hancock and Nami are always at the forefront, starring in this competition. And now, let's see Luffy's incredible decision after you help us with a like. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, I think that when it comes to the dynamic between Luffy, Nami, and Hancock, there's something as fascinating as it is unpredictable at play. Perhaps, who knows, the relationship between these three characters is a reflection of the complexity of their feelings and how each one views the world around them. On one hand, we have Nami, whose relationship with Luffy is marked by years of coexistence, shared moments, and a partnership so natural that it sometimes feels like they are two parts of a bigger whole. On the other hand, Boa Hancock is completely the opposite, an explosive, one-sided, and declared passion that creates both comical and, at times, dramatic situations. But what makes it also interesting is that Luffy seems oblivious to any romantic implications between them. In the chapters where Hancock is introduced, especially during the Amazon Lily arc, it's possible to see how the dynamic between her and Luffy is established. Hancock, who has always been cold and distant with everyone, finds something in Luffy that makes her let her guard down. His simplicity and the way he treats her as just another person without any special intention. Perhaps it's exactly this lack of intention from Luffy that captivates her. And while this is happening, Luffy's crew, especially Nami, is left out of the equation for a while, but it's impossible to ignore how the connection between them is completely different. If we think about the moments shared by Luffy and Nami, such as in the Arlong Park arc, it's clear that there's a complicity between them that goes beyond words. When Nami asks for Luffy's help, finally breaking down the barriers she built around herself, Luffy doesn't hesitate for a moment. He trusts her in a way he might not trust anyone else, handing her his straw hat, a symbol so important to him as a silent demonstration of his loyalty. In these moments, we might catch a glimpse of how Nami occupies a special place in Luffy's heart, even if he doesn't realize it. But what about Hancock? She's almost the opposite of Nami in terms of approach. If Nami is subtle and reserved, Hancock is bold and extravagant. Her jealous moments are evident on several occasions, like when Luffy mentions or interacts with other women, including his own crew. Perhaps Hancock's reaction is more comical than anything else, but it also suggests that she genuinely cares for him, even if it's not always reciprocated the way she would like. I think one of the most revealing moments about this dynamic happens when Hancock does everything to help Luffy get to Impel Down, and later, Marineford. Her dedication goes beyond mere love. It's almost a devotion. And yet, Luffy seems to see her as a friend, perhaps even a reliable ally, but never in a romantic way. This contrasts with Nami, whose relationship with Luffy is more based on companionship and mutual respect. The question of who is more likely to win Luffy's heart is complicated because in the end, Luffy seems completely uninterested in any kind of romance. Maybe he sees love in a different way, more tied to friendship and loyalty than to passion. Still, the comical and sometimes even tender moments between him and Hancock show that even without realizing it, Luffy can have a profound impact on the people around him. Luffy's crew, of course, has their own opinions about the love triangle, even if they are never directly expressed. Sanji, for example, clearly has a special admiration for Nami, but never seems threatened by Luffy. Robin, on the other hand, watches everything with that enigmatic gaze, as if she knows something we don't. Maybe, who knows? She understands that Luffy shares a connection with Nami that goes beyond what it seems at first glance. Zoro, for his part, probably considers all of this a waste of time and prefers to focus on his own goals. But what will ultimately define Luffy's choice? Who will he choose? Will it be the emotional connection built over so many adventures, or an open declaration of feelings like Hancock's? Maybe Luffy hasn't even realized there's a choice to be made. After all, the Pirate King is, above all, a free spirit. But the interactions with Nami and Hancock suggest something deeper, something that goes beyond mere friendship and admiration. Luffy's relationship with Nami begins to take shape from the earliest arcs of One Piece, and it's there, in seemingly simple moments, that the seeds of something much stronger are planted. In Arlong Park, chapters 81-90, Luffy doesn't hesitate to challenge one of the most dangerous villains in the series to free Nami from oppression. He places his straw hat on her head, a simple gesture, but one full of meaning. This moment becomes a symbol of trust, of partnership, and perhaps even of something more. It's not about words or promises, but a spontaneous momentous act that shows the depth of the bond between them. Throughout the series, Nami plays a fundamental role as the crew's navigator, but also as an emotional anchor for Luffy. She's the one who frequently guides him in times of crisis, offering practical but also emotional advice. What's interesting here is that while many characters refer to Luffy in ways that exalt his qualities as a leader or hero, Nami is one of the few who sees him with genuine understanding without the filters of myth or idealization. They share a harmony that goes beyond words. Luffy may be uncomplicated, impulsive, and even naive, but Nami is one of the few who can read his feelings without him having to say anything. In Whole Cake Island, chapters 825-902, for example, Nami has one of the most memorable scenes of the series when she fights to protect Luffy, showing that she's not just the travel partner, but someone with a genuine emotional bond with him. The fact that she trusts Luffy so absolutely, even in the toughest moments, reinforces the idea that they have a connection that goes beyond friendship. And by the end of the Wano saga, chapters 9, 10, 1057, when Luffy faces Kaido, Nami's worried gaze, concerned for his safety, seems to reflect the true weight of their relationship. On the other hand, the dynamic between Luffy and Hancock brings a completely different intensity. From the moment Hancock falls in love with Luffy, her love is shown explicitly, in contrast to Luffy's more reserved and uncomplicated nature. She is a powerful woman with a high status as one of the Shichibukai, and her devotion to Luffy goes far beyond what would be expected. In Impel Down and Marineford, chapters 525-580, Hancock risks her position, reputation, and safety to help Luffy, even defying the world government. Her own history of overcoming pain intertwines with the love she feels for him. Her passion is not just romantic, but also a form of personal redemption. Throughout her journey, Hancock proves to be a complex character, marked by a childhood of abuse and rejection, and the love for Luffy serves as a symbol of her own liberation. She sees in him not just a man, but an opportunity for something greater, a change in her life, a new beginning. Her devotion is a total surrender, and she doesn't hesitate to risk everything to protect him. In Amazon Lily, chapters 522-523, when she hesitates to let Luffy leave, almost begging him to stay longer, we see a unique vulnerability in her, a contrast to her Empress appearance and attitude. Luffy, on the other hand, remains oblivious to this devotion, as his vision of freedom and his own feelings are not easily defined or shaped by romantic conventions. Luffy's decision between Nami and Hancock is not simple. Nami represents a daily connection built over constant coexistence. She understands Luffy like few others, and the way he protects and cares for her, although in an unconventional way, shows a solid, mature relationship without external pressures. However, Nami could be seen as the practical or realistic choice, given the bond they have, the shared experience, and the harmony between them. She represents stability and trust, something Luffy values deeply, even if he doesn't explicitly recognize it. Hancock, on the other hand, brings to Luffy a more visceral, urgent love. She sees him as a symbol of salvation and redemption, something that goes beyond what he represents as a person. The intensity of Hancock's passion, her desire to protect him, and the dedication she shows can be interpreted as a form of idealized love, but it is a love also laden with sacrifice and heroism. Her devotion is not only for the man Luffy, but also for the cause he represents: freedom. Regarding the crew, the reactions to Luffy's possible choice would be complex. Zoro would probably remain neutral, always placing Luffy's well-being above all else without getting involved in sentimental matters. Sanji, as always, would be emotionally involved and might be devastated if Luffy chose Nami, which brings to light the complexity of his feelings for her. The rest of the crew would likely remain observers, aware that Luffy's relationship is something only he can resolve. However, the real question is not just who Luffy will choose, but the implications this choice will have for his journey. If he chooses Nami, it could strengthen the bond within the crew, but perhaps diminish a little of the symbolism of freedom that Luffy cherishes so much. The choice of Hancock, on the other hand, could represent a shift in Luffy's priorities, a sign that even for someone who seeks freedom above all, there might be room for something deeper, something that goes beyond the simple quest for the title of Pirate King. Who do you want him to end up with? Comment below. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.